Something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome to it as we kick off another brand new day here on the Steve Gruber Show. It is cold and windy and wintry outside. Could be a white Christmas around here. Kicking off another brand new day here from the Foxhole of Freedom, which always makes me ask, who do you want in your foxhole right now going into a brand new year? Lots of work to do, so let's get to it. Number one today, President Trump threw down the gauntlet on Democrats by doing the one thing they've talked about but never accomplished, changing the designation of marijuana so it's not a Schedule I drug. Brilliant. Number two, the FBI and others have now zeroed in on a suspect in Brown University's mass shooting. In fact, they found the guy, same guy, dead, foreign national. Are you surprised? And number three, how about that inflation report? 2.7%, blowing away all expectations, dropping below 3%, putting the economy on track for a solid 2026. At the same time, the price of fuel continues to drop. The national average, well under $3 a gallon now. Some states reporting the cheapest gas under $2, and trust me, that helps everyone. And if the economy continues on this path, we could see a roaring 2026, no question about it. And nothing helps an incumbent quite like a hot economy. We know that for sure. This all comes on the heels of President Trump's primetime address on Wednesday that, for all intents and purposes, kicked off the election season for the midterms coming up in November. So let's talk about it, all of it. Marijuana, killers, the economy, anything else that comes to mind. It's Free Speech, Free for All Friday, powered by the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. 877-310-9966. It's your chance to be heard. We do it every week here and hear from people all over the country. Man, they stacked up early today. Edward from Vancouver, Washington. You get to start us off today. Edward, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I got an idea on the immigration. How about if we pull ICE out of all the blue states, let the media rhetoric come down, quietly take off the funds, federal funds from those states, take ICE, put them in the red states where they're backed up by the public, law enforcement, the jails.
So focus on the states that want them. But, you know, the problem with that, Ed, is this. America can't be great if our big blue cities aren't great. We have to bring them all back. That's why what he did in Washington, D.C., the president bringing in the National Guard, has been such a winner. Doing the same thing in places like Memphis. It's a winner because those cities need help. We can't be great if Chicago's lousy or L.A.'s lousy. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree, but the game plan is for then if we're in the red states, all of them will run more to the blue states again, and then we'll just load them up and then sweep them out.
There you go. Well, you know what, Edward? Kind of herd them into one spot and then get serious about it. All right, Edward, thank you for the call. Greatly appreciate it. What do you guys think? You can always send me an email, stevegruber.com. Send me an email. We'll figure that out. Ralph, calling from San Antonio, Texas. Ralph, how are you today?
Hello.
Hello, Ralph. How are you? Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thank you for taking my call. I want to bring to remembrance the J6 committee, where a group of hyenas headed by Liz Cheney committed so many crimes openly that anybody that could tie their shoe and wave bye-bye could see it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You could get an indictment at breakfast and have conviction by lunch, and yet not a peep, nothing about it. In my generation, the youth learned quickly that the slightest misbehavior had quick justice.
You know what,
and
Ralph, you're exactly right.
Thing about this.
You're exactly right. Today, it's not, hey, I committed a crime and you're going to pay the penalty and mom and dad are mad as hell and the car's been taken away or whatever it is. Or maybe you spend a few weekends cleaning up trash, in the diversion programs. No, now it's like, well, but Bobby, Bobby did this and Bobby had that happen and little Bobby doesn't. Sick of the excuses. Enforce the law, hold people accountable, set standards and guidelines, and expect people to meet them. I agree with you. We're too soft on people, Ralph. We allow them to get away with stuff and then wonder why things are going to hell. I mean, why do you think that there are mobs of roving teenagers in places like Chicago's Miracle Mile, looting and robbing and stealing and terrorizing people that are there in their cars and so forth? We've seen it 100 times. I agree with you. And your generation had it right. We went soft on the kids and soft in the head. Ralph, thank you for the phone call from Texas. Barb is in Ohio today. Barb, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you this morning?
Lovely, thank you. 1775 coffee in my cup. I'm ready to go. What's on your mind?
Okay, there was a gentleman that called last week about a survey that was given to our military about firing on American citizens. Do you remember that call?
It happened during Barack Obama's administration, my understanding. I've not seen the document. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I have an article from 1995. The survey was given in 94, and it was given to 300 servicemen. I have that article. If you would like, I could mail it to you.
All right, let's hold on the line. I'd like the article. I'd like to know what it says for 19. Again, I'd like to know what the survey is and why it's, why is that even being asked, Barb? I want to know that. It seems like an odd thing to ask. Look, American soldiers aren't going to shoot on American citizens. We're here to enforce the law and to clean up Washington, D.C., for example. Barb, thank you for the phone call. If you look at the results in Washington, D.C., homicides are on par to be at their lowest rate in 40 years. Carjackings have gone down 75%. Sexual assault's gone down 35%. The positive impact on crime, ever since the National Guard got onto the streets of Washington, D.C., is undeniable. It's undeniable. And yet the Democrats would have you believe that it's somehow a bad thing. You know what's bad? Junkies running the street corner. Crime running the city. Murders being at the top of the sheet. Chicago's had 2,000 people shot this year. Over 400 homicides. Is that any way to run a city? No, of course not. Pete's in the great state of Tennessee. He's volunteering to be on today. Pete, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, Pete. How are you?
Are you there?
Yes, sir. Go.
I'm good. I got a quick thing first. You just said the American soldiers won't fire on American citizens. Go back and look at history. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, two for sure that used troops against Americans. They had to. But what I called about is last weekend after Meathead got killed, all these people were crying about what Trump said, and it finally dawned on me. He is a modern-day prophet. Look in the Bible. When the prophets would show up and they would start talking to the people, or when they talked to the leaders like a king, they didn't like what he said because he was telling them the truth. So from now on, I'm going to tell everybody Trump is a modern-day prophet.
Pete, thanks for the call.
And
Greatly appreciate it. I got to hit a break. We've got it open for you, 877-310-9966. I think he's a modern-day president that's perfect for the times. That's what I think. He takes, and I didn't care for what he said, but on the other hand, it doesn't matter to me. What matters is the economy, the border, the drug boats, the things that matter. His tweets don't mean a thing to me. I'll be right back. It is Free Speech, Free for All Friday. All right, here we go. Diving right back into it. I've got a note here, Joel from Alma, Michigan, reporting that gas at the Sam's in Mount Pleasant, $2.19. $2.19. That's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Gas all over this country. He says Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Joel. Glad to have that update. What's gas where you are? Man, it's getting cheap, isn't it? All right, Cliff, you're next. Illinois, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Let me get right to it. I'm calling on behalf of the J6ers and the vets that the president stepped in and pardoned or commuted their sentences. Some of them still can't access their rightfully that they're rightfully due their benefits for the VA. So I just wondered if you can get a shout out to the press on that. At least let's not forget about those J6ers who were framed for what had happened, and they've been persecuted just as much as Trump.
And
so
they cannot get the benefits. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Cliff. Greatly appreciate that. I didn't realize if you've been pardoned, you should have access to all of your benefits, whatever they might be, right? You should no longer be encumbered by anything, would be my guess and my understanding. Cliff pointing that out to us. We'll see if we can get some attention to that. If that's true, if you know anybody who's being blocked from benefits or whatever, they're part of the J6, again, SteveGruber.com, send me an email. We'll dig into it. If you've got a story tip ever in your area, something big, SteveGruber.com, send me an email. We'll dig into it. We'll find out what's going on. It's our job here. We take it seriously. Let's go back to Texas. Joe is on the line. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing all right, Steve. Good morning.
Good morning.
I called you last week and to warn you about what was going to happen. I am Lakota Native Indian. I'm also know of our native prophecy about being attacked from within. The thing that bothers me is that there's more of it that's going to happen, and I want maybe you could tell Trump to get these jihadist terrorists out of our dang country, thanks to Joe Biden allowing these dangerous people in our country.
Well, they're working on it. I mean, they're rounding up as many as they can, as fast as they can, but they're also being hindered. You know, which brings me to, thank you for the phone call, which brings me to a story here, a little update for you, sitting right here top of the pile. That Milwaukee County judge that helped the illegals get out the side door at her courthouse, convicted yesterday. Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan found guilty of helping a man avoid ICE agents at the courthouse April of this year. This is how you get things done. You hold people accountable. She has been convicted. Her defense says that they're going to continue to appeal that, of course, and says that they're disappointed by the outcome. I'm not. I applaud the outcome. It's what should happen. Let's go to Christine. She's standing by, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today. Christine, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm well. What's on your mind? How's Pittsburgh?
Well, I just actually had a comment. You were talking last week about, or earlier this week about insurance.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why there isn't some sort of regulation that if you don't use your insurance, you get some of your money back.
Well, you know,
why can't they?
What I mentioned is this. Hold on. What I mentioned is this for anybody that missed it. Half of the people on Obamacare, half that are on Obamacare, which is about 7% of the country, right? 20 million people. So half of those people did not file a claim last year at all. Didn't file a claim. And yet the insurance companies got all the subsidies anyway. You see, that's how that doesn't work. They're getting paid when nobody shows up. It's why everybody wants to put you on a subscription, whatever it is these days. People want you on a sub so that they can, you know, but this is different. This is a big subscription that the taxpayers are paying, and that's why it's wrong. It's great to have subscriptions to different things, but for stuff that you don't use and the insurance company gets paid anyway, Christine, that's what's wrong with the system, a big part of it, right?
Well, it really is, and you know what? I work really hard for that insurance, and I pay $400, almost $400 a month for my insurance. I went to have use my dental insurance.
Yep.
I needed dentures, and it cost me $1,000 out of pocket.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. You should be thankful.
And I still pay $400 a month in
But hear
premium.
me out, Christine.
It's ridiculous.
I agree with that, but your premium.
Pardon me?
Your premium. I said it's a lot. I agree with you, but yours is a fraction of what other people pay to get even less. I appreciate the phone call. That doesn't make it right, but the reality is this all has to be fixed because it doesn't work. If it's $400 out of her pocket monthly and she pays $1,000 to get some services done, it's not working is because we're paying the insurance companies directly. That needs to stop. The president's right about that. We need associations, healthcare associations, where 1 million people or 50 million people can get together and demand a better rate from United Health or Blue Cross or whoever it might be. Let's go to Dale. He's in North Carolina today. Dale, how are you?
Dale's gone. Dale hung up. Mike in Arizona.
All right, Mike and Dale, sorry about your luck. Mike, Merry Christmas. How are you? Mike in Arizona.
Good morning.
How are you? There you are.
Yes, sir. I have 2 issues, and I'm glad you talked about keeping people accountable. I believe that all these protesters that are getting violent and attacking law enforcement, Border Patrol, and ICE, the people that funds the protest needs to be held accountable, which includes George and Alex Soros.
I totally agree with that. 100% agree with that. George and Alex Soros fund a lot of this, right? That's a fact. We need to hold the people accountable that are funding these people that are undermining law and order, that are undermining the lawful actions, and they are lawful, by the way. We need to take care of that. A great call. You're exactly right, Mike. Hold them accountable. If you show up, you should be held accountable. If you're paying the bill, you should be held accountable. Longevity Wellness, it's simple and it works. One daily shake delivers protein, collagen, omega-3s, probiotics, and colostrum, supporting your gut, joints, brain, and immune system. I'm going to have one just in a moment. No gimmicks, no clutter, just clean, science-backed nutrition for people who want to feel better every day. And right now, my listeners get a special discount. Go to longevitywellness.co. Use the promo code Gruber. Longevitywellness.co, promo code Gruber. There's a buy one, get 6 free going on right now. Check it out at longevitywellness.co. All right, check that out. And I mentioned 1775 coffee. Great friends of the program. It's not your average coffee. It's 1775 coffee. High performance, high octane. Right there. It keeps me fired up every single day. 1775coffee.com. Promo code Gruber again, and you can save money. I think I see a pattern here. Promo code Gruber. You're going to find out good things. Bold, smooth, wonderful coffee, and it's woke-free. 1775. I'll be right back. We do Free Speech, Free for All Friday in the spirit of Rush Limbaugh. He had open line Fridays. You remember that? The great Rush Limbaugh, who was the icebreaker for all of us to follow. I wouldn't be here but for Rush Limbaugh. I truly believe that. And that's why we take your phone calls. He did it. I think it's the right thing to do. Take the pulse of the country when you can, and that's what we do here. Let's take Steve's pulse. He's in Idaho this morning. Steve, how are you?
Hey, I just wanted to wish all the RAV people and you and Ivy Merry Christmas. Things are looking up. Gas is coming down.
Sure
People
is.
are starting to move around and do stuff. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Well done, Steve. Well done. I appreciate that. Well done. Let's see. Gas today. Down again. National average 288. The cheapest places are places like Oklahoma and Texas, where it's $2.30 a gallon. But I got that note from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Alma. Joel says it's $2.19 at Sam's Club. Pretty remarkable. Russ, White Plains, New York. How are you today?
Thanks, Steve. You know, you talk about people getting away with stuff, the public official, the judge.
Yeah.
You know, some of us think, is the government itself getting away with stuff?
Oh,
shooting
every day.
survivors and seizing tankers for the oil. That's how FDR started World War II, blockading Japan. And, you know, I just wonder, Steve.
Whoa. Japan invaded China in the 1930s. FDR didn't start
31.
World War II by blockading Japan. All right? I mean, that's just factually wrong.
Okay. I miss it. Our involvement in World War II. But, Steve, can I ask you one other thing? Steve, you're starting to sound like Luigi. I mean, John Brown was not a hero in his time. I think Luigi's going to be like John Brown.
Oh,
but
come
is
on.
It the Second
Hold
Amendment?
on.
Is it
Wait
to
a second.
oppose government tyranny? Will that mean shooting people in uniform, law enforcement, and military?
Who said that? And what's in your...
Well, I heard that some
you
people
pouring
think that
liquor in
the
your
Second
coffee?
Amendment is to
Are you drunk?
preserve our rights against government tyranny. I mean, I don't think
stop.
everybody should have a gun. I think you have to be in a militia to have a gun.
Okay, you need to sober up. That's what I think. All right, thanks for calling. I appreciate that. I'm talking gibberish. Doesn't know how World War II started. That Luigi's a hero? No, sir. Luigi is a stone-cold murderer who killed a stranger because he didn't like health insurance. Sorry, that doesn't fly, pal. Not here, not anywhere. Wake up. Sober up. Learn something. Talk less, listen more. All right? Free speech, free for all Friday. I'll be right back. All right, here's a programming note. If you show up and start spewing nonsense, I'm going to call you for it. If you start telling me the World War II started with a blockade of Japan, which is patently false or other such gibberish, I'll call you out on it, which is fine. Look, it's free speech, free for all Friday. You can sound like an idiot. I don't mind. I'll just pick you apart right here in front of my friends, all right? Got it. All right, so Remember this, YouTube is a great place to watch the program every day. Go there and subscribe. It's an easy, clean feed. Tom did it yesterday when he heard about it for the first time. Be like Tom, all right? Go to YouTube right now, subscribe, and you can catch all 3 hours of the program every day. Plus, great interviews. They're all there for you. They're all cataloged back, including interviews with the president and other things. So if you hear something or want to know something, or you're on Free Speech, Free for All Friday, and you want to say, hey, I want to hear myself. Well, there it is for you. Jeff is in North Carolina. Jeff, how are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Fine. I love you, love your show, Steve.
Thank you, Jeff.
You had a guy on Friday before last, upstate South Carolina, about chemtrails.
Yeah.
And you asked him what was in those chemtrails, and he didn't have an answer. And I'd like to add some context to that for your viewers, please.
Go quick.
I've been following this for several years. It's been going on for a long time. They're spraying barium, strontium, cadmium.
Who's they?
And copious amounts of nanoparticle aluminum.
All right, but see, okay, hold on.
Spray them.
Cloud seeding's gone on since what, the 1930s, maybe, right? To promote rain and so forth. That part's, everybody knows that. But who are they and why are they doing, whoever this mysterious they are, I've got to know, Jeff, why are they doing this?
Okay, so this is a global event. This even went on during when we had the government shutdown. They were still doing it. It is under control of DARPA. It's under control of DARPA and Pete Hegseth over it. And I want to give you a resource. Dane Whittington is the man, the website, the dimming, like a dimmer light switch. The dimming is the name of it, and it's a very educational. And this guy is been researching it for a long time. And the truth of the matter is, if you look around, he says that 75% of everything God created, the birds of the air, the beasts of the field, have already been eradicated from this global spread.
All right, well, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to leave it there. You got it in. The dimming, if you want to look into it, folks. I don't spend much time on that topic because there's so many other things that are much more acute any given day. But if you want to go look, you can go look. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not endorsing it. I don't know. And I don't know who they are. But I would find it hard to believe, me personally, that Pete Hegseth or Donald Trump or anybody would promote or continue such a program because they are the disruptors. They're not the deep state. They are the disruptors. They're a different team, in my estimation. Let's go to Ann. She is in Texas today. Ann, how are you?
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
I have an issue I would like to call attention to, and that's senior citizens. I voted for the president, and I respect him, and I know he has a lot to do. But there's nothing been done for senior citizens who live on, say, $30,000 a year and live on Social Security and have managed to maybe save a couple $1,000s for an emergency. When people like this apply for help, they're refused because they have a little money in the bank. But the president doesn't realize it's not easy to live on that. Plus, we got an increase in Social Security, $32 a month. I'm sorry,
I got
$32 a month. What are you going to do with $32 a month? And Medicare has gone up again. So we not only pay $200 extra for Medicare a month, and then we pay our copays and whatever else they ask us for. I'm not knocking Medicare. I'm grateful to God that we get it, and I'm grateful for our country. But it's time that Mr. Trump, please think about senior citizens who have worked all their life and are good citizens and do the right thing and still get pushed aside. I thank you for hearing me, and I enjoy your show. Have a very Merry Christmas, and God bless you and yours.
And from Texas, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Well done. She made her point. Tough out there. That's why I don't like property taxes. We talk about it a lot here. There's an initiative afoot in Michigan to eliminate property tax for people just like that who have lived their whole life, saved a little bit of money, they're on a fixed income, and the government keeps ratcheting up their property tax every year. If you've paid your mortgage and paid off your house, shouldn't you be entitled to live there as long as you see fit? I would think so. Without the government pressure of trying to take it away by way of property tax, I would think so. AXMI tax, by the way, AXMI tax for those living in Michigan. Dave is in Surprise, Arizona. Surprise, Dave, you're on the program.
Thank you so much, Steve. What a blessed day we have, right?
It is.
I appreciate you recognizing President Trump and his role in the reclaiming of our republic, because history proves daily only disruptors are consequential.
It's true. I mean,
and that's truly what it is.
It's a complete
disrupting the
shakeup.
system.
It's a complete shock to the system. That's why the body politic. He's like a bitter pill to them. They keep recoiling. They're writhing in pain because he shakes them up every single day. The status quo doesn't work anymore. And he's making things happen. Now, look, there's some pain along the way because this is not just Joe Biden's administration. It's decades to build this thing. It took decades to build this deep state government machine that just churns along without regard to the American citizen. It's going to take a lot of disrupting to bring that down, Dave. A lot.
I totally agree with you, Steve, and that's the one perspective I think a lot of people don't have. You have it, and kudos and a hat tip again to you for that. The coup is not against President Trump. The coup is against we the people.
Amen.
And you're right. It's not been years or decades. It's been generational.
That's right.
In length against we the people. So keep spreading the message, my friend, and very Merry Christmas to you and all those that participate and listen.
Thank you, Dave. Greatly appreciate you. Merry Christmas to all your good friends in Surprise, Arizona. Next, we're going to a place that I know pretty well, actually. Best biscuits in America can be found in Greenville, South Carolina, guaranteed. David is on the line. David, how are you?
Yeah, they've got good biscuits here. You can believe that.
I guarantee you. There's a restaurant there.
Yeah,
there's
Steve,
a restaurant there called Biscuit something or other in Greenville, South Carolina that I think is just spectacular. Anyhow, David, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to touch on a few things. I'm going to be brief because I know you've got other people there that you want to get in. The first thing is America entered World War II on 7 December 1941 at 7:55 a.m.
That's right.
And basically that's when it started for us. Another thing about Obamacare. It was doomed from the beginning because it was done for the wrong reasons. It was done for government control, not looking after the people. It was doomed right out of its inception.
It was
designed that way. The big thing I wanted to talk about today is
Go ahead, but it was designed to fail, David. Quickly, we got about 20 seconds. Get it in.
Okay, moving in on 20 seconds. I applaud Doge for finding a lot of waste in our government. And if you could answer for me, if you know, how do all these politicians on $150,000 salary actually get net worth of $90 million?
Very easy. I can answer that question, David, because they know that legislation is coming down that's going to impact the energy industry or the healthcare industry or whatever it might be, and then they go buy or sell stocks based on their inside knowledge. I mean, they have 10,000% returns. Come on. By the way, the restaurant is Biscuit Head, Greenville, South Carolina. Best biscuits there are. Biscuit Head, Greenville, South Carolina. Free for All Friday will continue in a moment. Well, it's Christmas time, of course, so you hear about porch pirates stealing stuff off the people's porches. You hear about houses getting broken into and stuff getting stolen. What if they came right after your house itself? They skipped the porch, they skipped the big screen TV, they skipped the PS5, didn't care about that, came straight for your house. If you don't think it can happen, I think you're mistaken. Joining me now, Natalie Dominguez, title theft education specialist for Home Title Lock. Natalie, nice to see you again today.
Hi, Steve. Always great to be with you guys.
We've done some horror stories about people, signing documents thinking they were getting a loan or thinking they were doing something else, and all of a sudden they realize there's a letter in the mailbox that says that I'm in foreclosure, and they're like, what happened? And you've got a story today even more sinister, I think. A ringleader of deed theft crews sentenced for stealing homes in Queens. They didn't just get one. This was their business plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And this, I think the scariest part about this, and something that we haven't really seen before, is that this man, over the last 30 years that did this, has been sentenced to 3 felonies and multiple other arrests. I think it was 12 different convictions, and they're calling him the John Doe deed theft ringleader because authorities, although this man has already gone through sentencing for all of these crimes, has not been identified. And he actually got caught doing this because his former roommate, who knew him as Ace, he stole this man's identity, and that's how he ended up getting caught, was that he stole this man's identity and then went through stealing 3 different people in New York's homes under this false identity, false names, and did a bunch of different fraudulent documents and stuff.
3 homes that we know of, one in Queens Village, one in Kew Gardens Hills, and one in Jamaica Estates. I mean, he's going from neighborhood to neighborhood and just scamming people. And so when you sit there and say, you know what, my home's fine, how do you know? When you first joined me here years ago now, you said, well, where's your title to your house? I'm like, I have no idea. Who looks at that stuff? I didn't. Mm-hmm. I do now. I have Home Title Lock because you made me stop and think, I have no idea who's looking at my stuff. In this day and age when everything's interconnected and they can find out information on you and this and that, and you got to cover your 6, as they say, don't you?
Absolutely. And when you say, where is my title, there's a big misconception that someone might have a copy of their title paperwork. We see it all the time online. My deed's in my safe. No one has access to it. But all of this is public record, right? So your title is available online. It's available to walk in. Because it's considered a government document, it is public record. So I can go in, I can look at anyone's property information. I can look at their signature on record. I can pay generally either free or 10 cents a page and get a copy and bring it home. It's very easy to access.
I had this happen just recently. I've told this story on the show, but I'll share it again now. I had a guy that needed to go on a piece of property I have not too far from here. And so I get this call from this unknown number. I don't know who this is. And I take the call and tell the guy, yeah, I just wanted to walk on your property. I had something go over there. I said, okay, how did you figure out who I am? He had an app on his phone that said, here are the properties and here's who owns it. Oh, and by the way, then I was able to do a search and I was able to find some more information. I was able to get to you. And I'm like, how frightening is that? He just went on an app and it tells you who the property owners are, how much land they have, what their mailing address is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It was a hunting app, believe it or not. It wasn't even something fancy, just for people to go out in the woods.
Yeah. No, and it happens all the time, actually. I mean, you know this because we did this with you when we first started working with you. I usually like to kind of do a deep dive and see what I can find just within an hour with any of the new, our partners. And we had one partner in the beginning of working with them that got so freaked out because he was a pretty high profile, I'd say, comedian, actor, whatever. He now kind of influencer. He got so freaked out that he didn't want to do the ad anymore that we said that we were going to do because he didn't want people knowing that we could find the information so easily. It's scary stuff.
That's kind of a first, isn't it? To have somebody, look, you're freaking me out, dude. Stop it. You're finding out too much. But it is too easy to find out information on people. There should be more privacy. But until that happens, you have to protect yourself. Because if you lose your home in one of these deals, we had the elderly man you talked about here recently who was set on the curb. He had signed a piece of paper, thought that he was getting an extra loan for his house to pay off some debts. And before you know it, he didn't own the house that he had been in for decades. If you think it doesn't happen, it does happen, and it's frightening. So what does Home Title Lock do that's different than anybody else to protect people?
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to make one note too, because you're talking about the gentleman, the elderly gentleman. Unfortunately, the elderly are our most vulnerable. And in the
Yeah.
case like the one that we just talked about, he presented himself to these three homeowners in New York as someone that can help them with new loans on their houses that were foreclosing and things like that. So
Sure.
be very aware, guys, of just even it doesn't only happen online. It can be your neighbor, it can be a family member, it can be someone saying they're going to help you. So just be very aware of the people around you. But what we do here at Home Title Lock is we offer our $1 million triple lock protection. What that means is first is we monitor your property 24/7. Second is urgent alerts, right? Very important to keep an eye on things when scammers are obviously going to be looking for these things more than you are. And last but not least, and most importantly, our restoration. We'll spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud, get everything back in your name. In the case that we were talking about earlier in New York, because New York has some laws in place in just the city that they passed in 2024, this man is being criminally prosecuted. Most other places in the US don't have that. So what happens is the civil process is completely separate from anything criminal if they can prosecute. And these homeowners, two of them, their home was sold to a third party already. So now they can't even just restore the title. They have to go through this entire process just to get their property back from the people that illegally purchased it. So what we do is we handle all that for the homeowner. No out of pocket costs. You don't have to, hire a lawyer and go through all this for years. We have a team of legal experts that take over and do it for you so that you have peace of mind. Don't have to worry about it. It's all off your
Yeah.
plate.
Man, it's a frightening world. And at Christmas, don't think they're going to take the holiday off. Like I said, not a porch pirate, not somebody trying to break in your house and steal your jewelry or whatever. They want to steal the whole thing because you've been paying your mortgage for 20, 30 years. Maybe it's paid off. So there's all this equity sitting there. It's like a big pot of money for them. And that's the target. HometitleLock.com, promo code Gruber. Thank you, Natalie. I got to run, but I appreciate it. People, protect yourselves in the Christmas season. I'll be right back. So Ivy says I am over the top today. There's some truth to that. Maybe it's because I can smell Christmas. It's so close now. Christmas is in the air. By the way, a perfect Christmas gift before I forget today, Gruber merch. You want a brand new coffee cup, a great pullover, a nice hoodie, we got it for you, Gruber merch. This is just the start, by the way. The QR code, click on that. It'll take you right to some great stuff to put under the tree. Let's get back to some calls now. Roger is in Vermont. Roger, how are you today? Just leave that up for the segment. They can click on that code all day long. Roger, how are you?
Good, my friend. Something I missed yesterday. You were talking about something about the vaccine and vertigo.
Yeah, I had that. That's what happened to me.
I just wanted to know a refresher on what you were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Thank you very much. Pete asked me about my personal experience. I got the first vaccination. I had just gotten these glasses, these clear glasses, and I was out in the woods looking for morel mushrooms with Ivy. And I thought, that seems kind of weird, you know, maybe it's the new glasses, maybe it's the sunlight. I get the second shot because I bought into it, all right? I'm guilty. I got the first 2 shots and then never again. I had vertigo so bad, I could not sit up straight on the couch. That was my reaction to the jab. And so I called my doctor. I said, why is this? He said, well, I'm going to get you this antivert. So I had to get a prescription medication, antivert, to deal with the vaccination. When I got COVID at the end of the year, like everybody else in 2021, bad again. All right, let's go to Rick in Kentucky. Rick, you're going to round out the hour for us. How are you?
Hey, Steve. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Got
Christmas.
a quick question for you.
All right.
Do we have? I've racked my brain. You know, Colorado. We're trying to pull some of the big funding out to get the governor to do something for Miss Peters. Can you think of any access that we have? I think our biggest enemy right now is in the Senate. I really think Boone and these guys they're talking a good game. We got 200 people that haven't been, gone through the process. Trump's without those people.
That's right.
Is there any pull that you can think of that Trump has against these senators?
I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to think about it in the break. I'm going to have an answer at the top of the next hour. So stick around for that. What can we do? And the filibuster would be step 1, but they won't do that either because they don't have the political will. Rick, thank you for the call. Carlos, Jeff, Richard, Patrick, and everybody else, Free Speech, Free for All Friday will continue on the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966 at the top of the hour. I'll be right back. something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
It sure is, and it's a free speech, free for all Friday. Glad to have you on board. It's cold here, 20 degrees and really windy, snow falling. It's going to be a white Christmas around here, I think. Glad to have you on board. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, Bill Gates sure does appear in a lot of Epstein file photos, doesn't he? Anthony's going, man, those guys were close, I said, apparently. Number two, a suspect found dead in the Brown University shooting, also the murder of an MIT professor, apparently same guy. Found him dead in a storage unit. Self-inflicted gunshot wound. Shocking, right? And number three, it is free speech, free for all Friday. And top of the list for me today is the economy. Inflation came in at 2.7%. That means they're going to cut rates again. 2.7% for November. Perfect? No, but a hell of a lot better than it's been. In fact, on CNN, they couldn't hide it. Here's a professor from Harvard saying, no way to spin this. Listen.
It was a better number than anyone was expecting. Look, inflation's been very high. It's stayed high. It has not been coming down. But, you know, people were expecting it to be above 3%. It was well below 3%. I mean, I think the president will take this as good news.
Well,
the
everybody will take it as good news. You
interest rates will
twit.
get cut more. So
no way to spin it. The president will take it as good news. We all take it as good news, you twit. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Twit is the word of the day, apparently. Carlos, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Carlos, how are you?
Hey, Steve. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I remember as a kid growing up, we used to have like 4 planes on each side of the ocean, the Atlantic and the Pacific, flying over 24 hours a day round trip. We had to gas them up there. And we spent billions and billions of dollars. This is 24 hours a day, round the clock. For the whole year, and we spent billions and billions of dollars to protect us. This is before we had all the satellite surveillance and all that from China and attacks from Soviet Union. How come we can't spend not just a fraction of that putting armed guards in all of our schools to protect our children?
We absolutely should, Carlos. A special resource officer should be in every school in America, every single one, public and private. And in bigger schools, more. And a lot of school districts have it. For example, thank you for the phone call. For example, Detroit, Michigan. The Detroit Public Schools has its own police department. You know who doesn't have mass public shootings? Detroit, Chicago, Miami, Pittsburgh. Pick your school district that has police officers in the halls every day. They don't have school shootings. And it's exactly about what Carlos said there, because we need to use our resources. We can hire retired military, retired police officers, or ones fresh out of the academy, whatever you prefer. As long as they don't behave like those police officers did in Australia at Bondi Beach, where they hid behind cars. No, sir. We want police officers that will protect our children. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I agree with him. Great phone call, Carlos. I appreciate it. Let's go to Richard in Kansas. Richard, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing good, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. What's on your mind?
Hey, well, you know, I wake up every morning a little early to catch your show.
Thank you.
Love your show.
Thank you.
Very informative, very entertaining. And, you know, you watch the news and it's easy to get disheartened by everything that's going on in this country. I thank the good Lord every day that, you know, here in Kansas, we're a long way from the idiocy of the coast. But I think every one of us here in this country, whether you're red, blue, black, brown, red, yellow, white, you need to take the time to, you know, thank God for everything that is good in this country.
Amen to
you know,
that.
right now, you got a massive surge, and in energy production here. I work in the petroleum industry. I drill oil wells for a living, so really glad for that one.
Yeah.
The illegal border crossings dropping. You know, I'm thinking it's in the neighborhood of at least 90%. It's record deportation. Something this country's needed for a while, and the trillions in new investments pouring in, especially for, you know, AI factories creating jobs. I think we're bound for a golden age, and I thank God every day for what we've got.
Great call, Richard. Amen to everything you said. Merry Christmas, my friend. Merry Christmas. There's an old song, Bound for Glory, right? Bound for Glory. Look, we're on a trail, 2.7% inflation, gasoline below $2.50 for much of the nation now. $2.19 reported here in Michigan by one of our listeners yesterday at the Sam's Club in Mount Pleasant. Those are all good signs. It means that the interest rates are going to come down further, which means mortgages are going to come down, interest on used cars coming down, all of that. It's good news, Richard, and congratulations on being in the oil industry. You are in the right place at the right time. Speaking of oil, Patrick is in Texas. Patrick, how are you?
Good morning. Love your show. God bless you and all.
Thank
Just
you.
3 quick things.
All right.
Mike Liddell, I hope he wins. Stay out of tall buildings. Don't drive a new car. And I know you're not suicidal. 2, I think the military needs to start looking at some of these mosques. For an example, look at the Middle East. They get in there, root, play by the law, and then the bloodletting begins. I think they really need to start paying attention to that. And 3rd, they need to arrest Obama. I still don't think the guy is a born American. So I'm just saying, giving my opinion. Love to disagree and agree. Love your show.
Patrick, thank you for the call. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, he's not going to get arrested. Look, I think it's wrong for them to go after Donald Trump. I think it's wrong. If there's a crime that's obvious and clear, then you go after it. And they might find it, by the way. With all the games played by Hillary Clinton in the inner circle, that were playing games with Donald Trump, the FBI had no probable cause, for example, to go into Mar-a-Lago. Well, then who pushed it? If there's no probable cause, who bent and broke the law to make that happen? All at the idea of them salivating to destroy Donald Trump, which obviously failed because he is the president of the United States. Gil in Kansas, how are you today?
Hi, Steve.
Good morning.
Love your show.
Thank you.
Hey, this is kind of off topic. A couple months ago or so, you had a gentleman on there about dog health or something.
Okay.
My daughter's dog has arthritis really bad in her hips, and I was wondering, I keep trying to research and find that on the internet, but I can't. Can you give me the name of that?
Patriots Relief. It's a CBD product, which, by the way, this is a great call, and your timing could not be better. Donald Trump yesterday changed the classification of marijuana from a Class 1 narcotic to a Class 3 narcotic, right? That's what it is. Patriots Relief, it's on your screen right now. PatriotsRelief.com. Use the promo code Gruber. You're going to save money. They've got gift cards right now.
Oh, it's Patriots Relief?
Yeah, Patriots Relief. It's right there on your screen. PatriotsRelief.com.
Well, I only get you for an hour.
Oh, no. You get us all 3 hours on YouTube every day. All 3 hours. YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have YouTube. So okay, Patriots Relief, and it's
You got it.
He's got bad arthritis in his hips, and
it helped my dog.
Nuts.
My blue
I
healer.
told my daughter I would.
Yeah.
I told her about you, and I said I know he's got this stuff that.
It worked for me.
They believe in, and I believe in you. So
give it a shot.
I'm going to find this out. So
give it a shot. Thank you, Gil.
It's actually promo code Gruber2. Number 2, Gruber2. If you buy the gift cards, you get like 15% off total.
There you go. You double your offer. Gruber2 promo code. Anthony points out for Christmas. Gift cards, you get a discount. You get a double discount using the promo code Gruber2. PatriotsRelief.com. There you go. All right, back to it now. Glad to have you here. My next guest, looking at people, specifically United States senators, getting millions of dollars, right? Lining their own pockets when people that were thrown in jail like J6ers, when they're released, they get zip, zero, zilch. Yeah, it's true. My next guest is Sam Dewey. He's a lawyer at the Oversight Project. Sam, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so Senator Lindsey Graham, as one example, and there are many, got a pile of money, but the 2020 election pardon recipients, nothing. What's going on here?
I mean, it's very frustrating. There is this bill that was passed that gives 8 senators and only 8 senators the rights to sue for potentially tens of millions of dollars in damages for having their phones tapped. And while their phones shouldn't have been accessed, their records shouldn't have been retrieved, there's no dispute that that was wrong. There's something wrong with only them having the ability to sue when they didn't suffer financial ruin. What was done was wrong. That's clear, but they didn't suffer any financial ruin. They were okay. They were able to fund their legal bills out of their campaign funds. They had their official Senate resources, etc. Whereas many law-abiding Americans suffered financially ruinous burdens from lawfare investigations, and they haven't had any relief. So we're just scratching our heads wondering what is going on when 8 senators pass a bill that gives only them the ability to sue for literally tens of millions of dollars in damages and don't do anything for the average American who is affected as lawfare. It strikes
I'm disappointed, Sam, but I've got to be honest, I'm not surprised. These are the same people that have, in the House, they have jobs that pay $174,000, and yet after 4 or 5 years in Washington, suddenly their net worth goes from $500,000 to tens of millions of dollars. We see it happen time and again. These people line their own pockets, and they do it and ignore the American people. They go to Washington and forget we live out here. It just seems that way to me. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you are. That we see a lot of odd behavior by this, and this is just a particularly brazen example because it's not just lining their own pockets, it's lining their own pockets while precluding relief that the rest of the Americans need and deserve. So our call is to reverse this. The House unanimously passed a bill to strip this provision out, and we think the Senate should take it up and that the Senate should strip it out as well. Again, we're not disputing that there is an abuse of power here. We're not disputing that this needs to be looked into. We're not even disputing that it appears that the judge who signed these applications, Chief Judge James Boasberg, needs to be looked into because there's serious questions there. All of that should be done. We're just disputing this mechanism, and we think that Americans should stand up and say, no, you don't get a special cause of action. You need to make whole the patriots who were investigated, not even charged, but had to take out a second mortgage to pay the legal bills because, look, if you're a conservative and you get investigated, you're going to get charged for a lawyer. You're a liberal, you're going to have a bunch of big law firms offering to represent you for free, and that's wrong. But they need to be made whole for that. This needs to be taken out of the bill, and there's just no good reason for this. The Senate has plenty of authority on its own to investigate these abuses. They can send subpoenas, they can hold hearings, they can have depositions, and they should do that because what happened is wrong. But for God's sakes, don't line your own pockets while denying the American people relief. And if any bill is passed, they should pass a bill that lets all the Americans who suffered from this
or anything else for that matter. This is just one example. Barack Obama's government went into the computers. They hacked into computers of reporters, right? James Rosen at Fox, Cheryl Atkinson at CBS, just to name 2 that were hacked directly to see what they were writing about, who they were sending emails to, what they were saying. So this is just another, I mean, these examples, look, we only hear about a fraction of them, Sam. That's probably true too, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. You only hear about a fraction of the abuses, and that's why it's important to fight back. And, we're calling for the provision to be stripped out, but we're also calling for there does need to be oversight of this. People do need to be held to account. And part of that is that we've also sent a letter to the Department of Justice saying that for everyone who was abused, for everyone who faced a weaponized inquiry from Jack Smith and had to take a second mortgage out, had to go into debt to pay a legal bill just to respond to some absurdly abusive subpoena, that they should be made whole. And there's an administrative process under the Federal Tort Claims Act whereby the Department of Justice can do that, whereby it can say, okay, all the individuals who the president pardoned, who were investigated because they served as alternate electors or because they advanced a good faith challenge to the 2020 election, the Department of Justice can say, look, this was part of weaponization by Garland and Jack Smith.
Well, hopefully, Sam, I got to leave it there, but hopefully, I mean, you laid out the case perfectly as to why this needs to happen. Jack Smith needs to be held to account. Merrick Garland needs to be held to account. A whole host of people need to be held to account. The J6 committee in its entirety needs to be held to account. I appreciate you being here. It's called the Oversight Project. You can look them up and find out more. Sam, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. There you have it. Hey, by the way, I mentioned it's 20 degrees and blowing out there. It's cold. You need a muskox. Go muskox.com. It is the best flannel shirt you will ever own. Trust me on this. Go muskox.com. Right now, if you use the promo code Gruber, you're going to save $15. It's an investment in your comfort. Muskox is the undisputed leader in heavyweight flannels. They have you covered. Their brand new heavyweight flannels are here, but the colors that you might love the most sell out quickly. You might still be able to get it in time for Christmas. Go muskox.com. Promo code Gruber. Save $15 on the best. I guarantee it. I've got 3 of these things. It's the best flannel shirt you will ever own. You're going to love it. Anthony wears it. Ivy wears it. We all wear it. It is the best. Wear it as a jacket. I mean, it's just, trust me. Go muskox.com. $15 off right now. I'll take a break and be right back. All right, let's get back to it. We've got people on the line that have been very patient here on a Free Speech Free for All Friday, powered by Patriot Mobile and the Common Sense Hotline. The number is 877-310-9966. Joseph in Columbus, Ohio, a place that I lived for many years. Joseph, how are you?
Fine, sir. I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on here. Last week I called you and I got somebody pulled the plug on me. I just like to say today that I think Mr. Trump should go after all these people that sued him last year, Jack Smith, and he should go after the people that put that poor lady in Colorado in jail for just telling the truth about the 2020 election. Also, for another point, that's completely different, is that my wife worked with Somalians in the post office. And they were really as bad as they said. She personally saw lady employee Somalians washing their feet and the toilets.
Oh my gosh! All right, we got Joseph, you got through today, and I appreciate. Yeah, if you bring a culture in that doesn't want to be part of the American culture, it creates problems. That's a fact. Thank you for the phone call. Glad you got through this time. Nate in Iowa, how are you today? Nate, how are you?
Hey, good, Steve. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you for taking the call.
Of course, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to make a suggestion, not only to Donald Trump, but also to, you and any other hosts out there. I think it would be really beneficial for our great president to try and mobilize the people. Not only try to take everything on his shoulders, which he is trying to do, which we all see it and we all appreciate it.
Yep.
I would say, though, if he made an address, even if it's on Truth or X or whatever it may be, and said, hey, look, everybody, everybody out there that voted for me, I appreciate everything you've done. I need your help.
That's exactly right. He needs help. I agree with you, Nate. I got to leave it there. Hard break, but pick up the slack is what he's saying, and I agree. Let's just jump right back into it with my Congressman Tim Walberg from Michigan 5. He's with me now. A lot going on, Congressman. Nice to see you today. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and Happy Hanukkah, and hopefully a very happy and prosperous New Year.
All right. I want to get to your energy permitting process to lower costs, but first I have to ask you about the executive order that was signed in the Oval Office yesterday. Big crowd there. Donald Trump lowered the classification of marijuana from being a Class 1 narcotic to a Class 3. They say by doing this, they can open up a tremendous amount of research and so forth. What are your thoughts on this? He's not legalizing marijuana, but I think he snatched a big campaign issue that the Democrats have capitalized on. They did it here in Michigan and other states. I think he snatched it right away from him yesterday. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, as long as it stays to that, doing research to see what type of benefit or negative impact marijuana can be, because we've been functioning in a world of hazy fogginess on that whole issue. I think primarily for the industry itself to be able to sell more and frankly to do recreational marijuana, which I don't think is good. I think it's a gateway drug. We have all sorts of problems with drug opiates, fentanyl and everything. And I think we've seen that it is truly a gateway. But if it's actually done for research where you can see if this could be something that would have some benefit, I'm not opposed to it. And you're right, it does take away some of the puffery that the Democrats generally do just to get people to the polls to vote for their candidates. They put these type of things on the ballot, which they did in Michigan, and we're suffering from that right now. So we'll see what happens.
Now, I don't know what it's like in your neighborhood, but there's a weed shop on just about every corner in the state. I don't think that's good. I think that I agree with you on that. I think there's some friends of mine that have PTSD and so forth that I'm aware of that say, look, it helps me. Okay, maybe it doesn't. It helps cancer people, get through the suffering. Okay, I can live with that. But having weed on every corner and basically telling the boys and girls it's good for you, no, I don't buy that. Decriminalizing I was fine with. Fully legal and selling it like, other products. I'm on the same side as you are, Congressman. So I agree with you on that.
Well, I feel better today knowing that we're together on that.
There you go. I get what he's doing, and I approve of research. I'm good with that. Let's talk about the modernization of the permitting process, and it's not just energy; it's across the board. All these permitting I'm going through a process now because I had a house fire in a rental house. My God, the regulations and every step of the way is like it's a struggle every step of the way just to rebuild a house that had a fire, to put things back the way they were. You get into big things like drilling an oil well or putting in a gas pipe. I mean, it's the mine in Alaska. I just saw this. The average mine in America takes 15 years to get a permit. Now, they're streamlining that as they should because we need rare earths. We need energy, all these things. Tell me about this plan of yours.
It's a great plan. I was privileged to speak on the floor on its behalf yesterday. I sit on the committee, Natural Resources, from whence it came. And I mentioned right from the get-go that I represent half of the district of the original author of NEPA, the National Environmental Bill, that the SPEED Act amends. And that was John Dingell. I have half of his old district. So I think, and I'm not going to speak for John Dingell, rest his soul, but I think he was realistic enough to know that if it got to a point where it was inhibiting us from advancing, whether it's pipelines or whether it's mining for the good of this country, but still doing it environmentally sound. We don't want to trash the environment. We are true conservationists, and we're good stewards. But we also know that good stewards use the resources for benefit of this country, and that has been hijacked by the radical environmentalists for no good reason except to hold us back. I mean, when you think of the pipeline, Line 5, and all that it's gone through and will continue to go through, when we need those resources, propane gas, et cetera, natural gas, not only for us, but for Canada, our neighbor to the north, all the benefit that comes, all the rare earth mining that could be done, it's held back. Now we have AI, and I've long said, even over at COP27 where I spoke, and the craziness that goes on over there, that because of AI, we can look back to what is necessary in dealing with the environment, move through it quickly if it doesn't contact what we're doing, and get these permits done so we can advance. So, yeah, I was delighted to see that bill pass yesterday. Hopefully the Senate will take it up. Chuck Schumer won't block every good thing like he's generally trying to do. And Democrats just simply wanting to block. So it all falls on Trump and the Republicans in perception. Policy is no concern for them. This is good policy. I hope we'll get it done.
You know, I've said this a number of times. I've had the good fortune to travel to many countries. And I can say unabashedly, America's the cleanest, greenest, industrialized nation on the planet. We're so much cleaner than China or India or 25 other countries that are industrialized because we do things right in the spirit of Teddy Roosevelt and other conservationists. We're not radicals. We care about our Great Lakes. We care about our great country and our mountains and our rivers and everything. And you're exactly right. But keeping that in mind, we can't just allow ourselves to be put behind the 8 ball when it comes to having rare earth or having natural gas or having oil. These are all things that power America's economy, which, by the way, doing pretty well from what I can see, 2.7% inflation as a nice little kick to the holiday season as we go into Christmas. But you're right. We're the cleanest, greenest, industrialized nation on earth. We ought to tell people that more often, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And people just need to step outside, look up into the beautiful blue sky when it's not raining, and see what we have. To go as you and I go to the lakes and rivers and cast a line. I love the freestone streams that we have in the Sable.
Absolutely.
Pierre Marquette, and we want to keep it that way, but we also want to keep advancing because the world expects us to. We're the greatest nation ever on the face of this earth. Let's not go backwards. If we go backwards, we'll go back to China.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want to go back to India or anything else. So, no, these are common sense things, and I'm glad we passed that yesterday. A couple other key bills that we passed yesterday as Republicans continue to chug forward on good things. One was taking away all Medicaid funding for any type of gender transformation, as they're calling it. It's crazy. It's evil.
It's butchery.
It's butchery. And for me to sit there in a press conference with the Secretary of Health and Human Services, NIH Director, and also Dr. Oz with CMS, and hear them talk common sense about what we're doing to our children. It's cruel and inhumane, and I'm thankful we have an administration now that says enough's enough. If you're an adult and you want to do that craziness, that you don't believe that a male is a male and a female is a female, and that's how it is, then I guess you can do.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we also I know that you care about our natural resources in the form of wildlife.
I do. We've got about 30 seconds, so we got to get right to it. What is it?
We passed the taking the gray wolf off the endangered species.
Smart move.
Smart move. It's good for our ranchers and the like. So, hey,
for the deer hunters in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, it's a smart move. I can guarantee you that. Congressman, we'll talk more. That one we're going to talk about more next time we speak. I won't see you next week because you'll be off for Christmas, so will I. But Merry Christmas to you, my friend, and to your family and all your great folks.
Likewise, and say the same to Ivy.
I will, sir. Here you have it, Congressman Tim. Taking the gray wolf off the endangered species list is a smart move for the ranchers out west, for the people in northern Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin. We need to maintain the herd and control it. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the program. Glad to have you along as we dig deeper into all sorts of topics you won't hear anywhere else. Trust me on that. One of those, the war in space. You've heard people talk about, you've seen the sci-fi movies and so forth, but how would it really happen? Would it really happen? Troy Bruno is the CEO of United Launch Alliance. He joins me now because he has a lot of thoughts on this. Troy, welcome to the program.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you on the program today. All right, a war in space. If it were to happen, you've got some ideas on how that would unfold. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's absolutely a prelude to a war here on Earth. Our forces on Earth are so formidable and will be even more so under the new national defense strategy that President Trump published. Therefore, to level the playing field, China starts in space. And it won't start with a boom or a bang. It'll start with silence. Suddenly, we won't have comms, we won't have surveillance, we'll have spotty GPS, and it'll be confusing for a while before we realize we are actually under attack.
And what do you mean by that? Actually, trust me, China is at war with America right now. You see, America believes in asymmetrical war. Either we're at war or we're not. It's binary. That's not the way China looks at it. They come at us from TikTok. They come at us from the college campuses. They come at us from a variety of different places. They're going to come at us from space. They're building their blue water navy, of course. And so whether or not we realize we're at war with China, they know it. And that will come to a head at some point, I believe. And you think it could happen in space?
I do, and I think you're right about that. We're in a second Cold War now. We're just not generally aware of it. And it could heat up very quickly as China has territorial ambitions. Space is essential now to our basic military operations. There was a time when we thought of it as a force multiplier. We've gone past that now. We almost can't do anything without it. And they know that, and they are developing and fielding anti-satellite weapons, both here on Earth and in orbit, every month, every day. They're preparing for this war in space.
They are. So as it rolls out, look, all of our communications, things like Starlink or low altitude satellites, all of our communications, all of our technology is reliant on these things flying around the planet, which are thousands and thousands of them. You start knocking out a few satellites, all of a sudden my cell phone doesn't work. I don't have internet connectivity. I've got problems, figuring things out. They could basically make us work in the dark. That would be a first step, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. And I'm glad you picked those particular examples, because we've been talking about the military's dependent on space or dependency on space. But the reality is our whole economy is also dependent upon space. Without our space assets, when you go to the Starbucks, that pay point is not going to work. There's not going to be any money coming out of the ATM. Bank transactions will stop. The power grid will be in trouble. It depends on the timing signal from GPS. There is a big, wide field for serious economic warfare coming at us also through those space assets.
So what would the timing be there, Tori? Because China right now, the second biggest economy in the world, second by a large margin behind us, if they were to pull a stunt like that, it would bring the whole world into a worldwide depression. If there was a full-out hot war on the planet or not, the economics would collapse, because you're right, the electric grid wouldn't work, the ATM would fail, people couldn't buy groceries, maybe the lights come on, maybe they don't. But that would be financial suicide for the Chinese. But there's a school of thought that they wouldn't care. Chairman Mao allowed 60 million people of his own to die in the Great Leap Forward, which is nothing more than a great leap forward into a grave, and they didn't care. Their plans are longer than some disposable peasants. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's important, I think, to understand that this could happen at any time. It could happen now. And I completely agree with you that their tolerance for the, I'll say, the suffering that they impose on their own people to achieve a greater external goal is completely different than ours. You're absolutely right. If they thought they could achieve their national strategic imperatives, they will suffer a great deal at home to get that done.
Well, the leaders, if it were Xi, he won't suffer. The dictator won't suffer. The 10% of the Chinese people that are members of the Communist Party, most of those wouldn't suffer. But the 90% of the people in China that are not associated or affiliated directly with the CCP, they would bear the brunt, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. And that's a great insight between why our systems are different and why that matters. In authoritarian government, they're not accountable to the people and they don't suffer those consequences. In a democracy, it would be political suicide if you deliberately did something like that to your own population. They
Right.
don't have that constraint. We do.
What do we have to do differently then? You said the National Defense Authorization Act further enhances our abilities to be the most lethal military on the planet. Okay, that's nice, but total annihilation of the planet's not exactly a great outcome. Mutual assured destruction, not a great outcome of what we used to talk about back in the 80s. How do we go forward? How do we make the system better? How do we prepare ourselves to prevent this from happening?
It's all about deterrence. And in the scenario, the way we've just been talking about it, space is really the door they open to have the confidence to start a terrestrial conflict. We need to close that door and lock it. And today, these assets that we are so dependent upon floating above our heads are essentially defenseless. We have very limited situational awareness. We don't even know if they're being attacked exactly. And if they are being attacked, we can't respond very well. So we've got to treat space like the air domain. We have to be able to fight there. We have to be able to have complete situational awareness of the entire orbital regime. We need to know when we're being threatened, approached, signals and indications that they might be positioning their anti-satellite weapons.
Correct.
We need to be in a conflict, be able to fight back and defend ourselves. And by the way, force application in space for defense purposes was prohibited in the last administration. So we've done very little with that.
We need to pick up the pace and do some things. Tori, I got to leave it there for today, but I want you to come back because you're onto something very important that, like I said, nobody else talks about. Tori Bruno, CEO, United Launch Alliance. Thank you for being here. We're going to talk again soon.
My pleasure. Look forward to it.
I'll take a break and be right back. It is the Steve Gruber Show.
after that.
All right, welcome back to it. Brock Palmbush has been preempted by you, America. We're going to go back to the phone lines on a free speech, free for all Friday. Kate in Michigan has been very patient. Kate, how are you today?
I'm excellent, Steve. How are you?
I'm well. What is on your mind?
I just wanted to thank you for being the big voice to bring some awareness to the fentanyl problem.
Thank you for that. Fentanyl's a real deal. We're going to be doing a documentary on it. We just got clear to do a documentary. We're going to go to some places in Michigan and elsewhere, Indiana, possibly Ohio, possibly, and talk to real families who have paid the ultimate price for the fentanyl poisoning. So that's coming.
That's excellent, Steve. Very excellent. My daughter's a heroin addict, but I'm glad to see that fentanyl was named a massive drug of destruction, so I'm real happy about that.
Well, I appreciate your
And I just
call.
wanted to thank you. You're welcome, Steve. I appreciate you speaking about it.
Well, thank you, Kate, and we give you our best wishes to deal with that trouble that you have. Hopefully you'll get through it, and hopefully you'll be okay. God bless you. All right. Let's go on to Mike. Mike is in Virginia. What a great call. I'll tell you more about the documentary as we get farther down the road. Mike is in Virginia. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Steve Gruber. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
What do you make of the Trump Media and Technology Corporation making the $6 billion merger with Tri-Alpha Energy, which is a fusion company?
You know, I was looking at that, trying to understand what that is. What is it?
Well, they're working on what's called reverse field configuration, which is aneutronic fusion. This is something that's been speculated Lockheed Martin has had for decades, but is in a unacknowledged special access program. But this would be the commercialization of fusion reactions, which, of course, are much more beneficial than fission reactions.
Right.
And
hold on a second, Mike.
Disclosure.
You called it reverse field what?
Configuration. Reverse field configuration.
You know, I do have some questions about it because it doesn't seem that, the highest elected official in the land should be in a private merger situation. I don't know who owns the company. I don't know the structure, but I do have questions. I agree with you on that, Mike. Things to concern yourself with. Do me a favor. Do some more. Dig into it more. Call me back. We'll talk about it here. Nobody's immune to questions here. Nobody, including the President of the United States, on this deal.
All right. I'll give you more information.
Thank you. We'll be right back. something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome to it on a Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Glad to have you here. A lot to cover here today. Three big things to know this hour. Number one, the suspect in the Brown University mass shooting and the murder of an MIT professor. They believe the same guy. He's dead. Not an American. Number two, I'm going to study 10-day forecasts. Day 10, how accurate are they? I've got some information for you you're going to like. And number three, like I said, it's Free Speech, Free for All Friday. That's when we go through what's the best of the week and the worst of the week and everything else. And joining me in a little while, of course, will be Ivy. She's going to be here for half the hour. Gosh, you can't put a price on that. Welcome to it, my friends. Glad to have you here. I want to start with this. Inflation, 2.7%. Inflation is 2.7%. And by the way, if you want to join the conversation, 877-310-9966. 877-310-9966. That is your Patriot Mobile Common Sense hotline. In the spirit of Rush Limbaugh, we open the phone lines on Fridays. There you go. Thank you very much. The crowd goes wild. You ought to give some applause to 2.7% inflation. Let's hear that. Unbelievable. And in fact, on CNBC, an audible gasp. Yesterday, the numbers come out, the guys in there, well, we're waiting for the number. They expected it to be over 3%. They told us inflation was going to rise to over 3%. Here's what actually happened.
The number of the morning, the CPI, maybe coming in a little bit better than expected.
Right.
2.7%, a little light here. I'm just reading the headlines here. Year over year, 2.7. Ex-food and energy core, 2.6. So 0.4 off. That is a very good number here. And it really, I have not looked at the internals. I'll look at them now, but it suggests that the internals are good as well. Let's see, year over year, over the last 12 months. There is no month to month, but some guys will be able to calculate. Seasonally adjusted index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% over the 2 months. So, correct my math here, Michael Santoli, but 0.2 divided by 2 is 0.1.
Yeah.
So, therefore, that's a very, very low monthly rate here. The index for shelter increase, so you did get a really nice decline in shelter, which was 0.2. And so that was 0.1 per month.
Remarkable numbers. All of them. All of them. Over on CNN, they were stunned by it all. They didn't expect it. They thought this would be we got him now. We got Trump now. Those tariffs are going to drive inflation through the roof. We've got him. Just a matter of time. Gas is going to be more expensive and housing is going to be more expensive and inflation is going to go through the roof. It was 9.1%. 9.1% at the peak of the Biden administration's stupidity. 9.1. Blew everything out of the water. That was summer of 22, 2.5 years ago. Here's what happened on CNN. This is a professor from Harvard. He says, it's a good number. Can't do anything about it. Listen.
You know, it was a positive news. There's no other way to spin it.
Absolutely. Let's
start that again. I think you caught the end of that. Let's try that again.
I mean, I was surprised. It was a better number than anyone was expecting. Look, inflation's been very high. It's stayed high. It has not been coming down. But, you know, people were expecting it to be above 3%. It was well below 3%. I mean, I think the president will take this as good news. The investors will think that interest rates will get cut more. So, you know, it was a positive news. There's no other way to spin it.
Absolutely.
No other way to spin it. Got to hear that twice. Why? Because I'm cool that way.
You have a caller, Steve.
I do? Who is it? Let me see.
Harold in Pennsylvania.
Well, Harold, welcome to the program. I'm sorry I didn't see that. I was so excited about the inflation rate being 2.7%. I got all excited. Harold, welcome to the program.
Hello, Steve. Can you hear me?
I can, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, Steve, my name is Harold Skaggs. I was on January 6th there. I'm going back this January. Are you going to be there for the J6?
You know,
in Washington, D.C.
First I've heard of it. So I may be. Maybe I will be. So what's happening on January the 6th? Tell the good folks.
There's a whole bunch of us are going back. It's 814-558-8781 is my number. You can give that out over your show.
All right, give it again. Go ahead. 814
558-8781.
All right. 814-558-8781. So there's going to be a reunion of sorts, Harold. That's what you're telling me, a reunion of the J6ers.
Yeah, so we're going to go back, and I'm going to keep going back till the day I die to celebrate J6, for the people who stood up against the government.
Well, there you have it. Harold, good call. Greatly appreciate it. Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, open for business, 877-310-9966. What do you think of that? Well, then, what do you think of that? Let's see here. Was that it? Did I miss anybody else, Anthony? Keep me honest here.
Lines are clear, Steve.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I could be, potentially. I don't know. Travel plans for 2026 are not made yet. You just never know. With that hard pass to the White House, you never know where I might be when the action's happening. I might be right in the front row. Let's see here. Best thing, here it is. Ivy's going to join us for half an hour. Here's the best thing I've heard all week. All right, this is the best thing I've heard all week. Democrats think they're going to sail through the midterms and win, right? They do. You listen to them. Oh, Donald Trump's this and that. Boy, did they hate the inflation number of 2.7%. They have to admit, though, that this message of socialism and communism and Mamdani taking over New York City, how's that going for you? Here they are on CNN in a pretty much full-blown panic. I love this. Listen.
How are voters feeling about Democrats right now?
Yeah, I mean, Democrats in the minds of the American public are lower than the Dead Sea. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look. The net approval rating for Democrats in Congress, you said it, Kate Baldwin, the lowest ever. Look at this. Overall, they are 55 points underwater. Their approval rating is south of 20%. It's even worse when you look at independents. Look at this. Negative 61 points. That means that their approval rating is 61 points lower than their disapproval rating. Quinnipiac has been polling this question for the better part of the 21st century. They have never found Democrats, at least those in Congress, in worse shape than they are right now.
Well, then, 55 points underwater, lowest ever for Democrats. How's that socialism message selling? How's that going for you? Pretty good, looks like. Lower than the Dead Sea, he said. Lower than Death Valley. Lower than a snake's belly. Lowest ever. Good job there, everybody. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to talk about, this is something I'm going to talk about coming up. The 10-day weather forecast, because a couple of days ago I said it was going to be 40, 40, 40, 40. Now it's 20 degrees and howling wind and snow. How come the day 10 of a 10-day forecast, how accurate is it? What's your over-under on that? I've got the answer, by the way. It's not good. I'll be right back. It is the Steve Gruber Show, Free Speech, Free for All Friday. All right, let's keep right on going by inviting in the best-looking, most talented, most accomplished lawyer in the history of lawyers. That is, of course, Steve Doolin, everybody. He's remarkable. Just ask me, I'll tell you. Doolin, welcome back.
Thanks, Gruber. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's your Friday, cheerleading session, right? There you go.
Exactly right. I deeply appreciate it.
Men of our age need to be built up sometimes. I'll just tell you. All right, that's just the way that is. All right, so one of the loyal listeners of the program sent me some video from this ERPO discussion. That's Extreme Risk Protection Orders. You testified, I understand. You were the man. By the way, you got rave reviews from Big Will, who said, I was there, and he knows what he's talking about. So these are red flag laws, common vernacular, red flag laws. They're trying to push more of this. I thought we already had red flag laws. I thought you could already stop somebody and have them. Let me back up. I think that the Baker Act in Florida is the best system there is. It's been around for 35, 40 years. If you're freaking out and you're having an issue, they can just hold you for up to 72 hours. No charges. They don't ruin your life. They don't throw you in jail. They don't charge you with a crime, unless you committed one, of course. But we're supposed to look at other states and say best practices. Look what works here. Why don't we have the same thing here?
Well, we do, and that's the really amazing part. We do have a 72-hour psychiatric hold law in Michigan and have for a long time. I don't even know. Ours might be older than Florida's. To tell you
Man, I have. I'm telling you right now, I have a list. Anyhow, go on. For a 72 hold.
So, right? I'm sure I'm somewhere near the top. But the thing is, we had that in place when this red flag was pushed through a couple of years ago. And what the Dems did is held hearings a couple of years ago. They didn't allow any testimony from anyone who was opposed to the bill at all at that time. It was zero. In fact, there's been a lawsuit filed against the legislature over the fact that there was no opposing views held or allowed during that hearing when it was held, or those hearings.
How can you do that? How can you not have testimony? How is it a hearing if you're not hearing?
They only called on the people that because the chair of the committee has a huge amount of power over who gets to testify before each committee, and the chair was one of the sponsors of the red flag bill, and she made sure that they only called on people who were in support of the bill, right? So now 2 years later, we finally get a chance. For some reason, the whole thing was only an hour and 40 minutes. There were a lot more people lined up. I could have gone longer than the 3 minutes they allotted me, for example. But we all showed up and discussed the major issues with red flags. There's this internal logical flaw. If I think you're acting squirrely, in my opinion, and I'm on the list of people who can, and I can call the police and tell them to come and take away your guns if you and I have the right relationship. Like, let's say we're roommates or something, or any police officer can just decide that your guns have to be taken away. So what do? I mean, just think about it logically. There's a person who I think is dangerous, but not dangerous enough for a 72-hour psychiatric hold. So what do the police do? They come and take away all your guns and then leave. They don't provide you with any treatment under this law. They don't actually need to take you to see people with white coats and PhDs and MDs and have interviews.
How do you get your guns back?
You have to show up and prove to a judge that you're okay. So the burden of proof is now on you.
Well, that's backwards to the American system.
Due process turned on its head. Right. The world turned upside down.
Right.
And they take your property, but it's crazy. If I think you're dangerous, I'm going to have the police come and kick in your door, maybe, and take your guns, whichever ones they can find, and then leave you more agitated in a world full of dangerous tools. It's absolutely illogical at its core, much less the constitutional issues with due process and other parts of the Constitution and the burden of proof, right? Also, it's written up as a civil action, even though it's the police and the prosecutors against you. And I told a true case that I had last year And I won't take the time to do it now because it takes at least 5 minutes. But bottom line, the prosecutor finally realized that the case was crazy. So the prosecutor, a prosecutor of goodwill and ethics and competence, stood up beside me, and we asked the judge to dismiss the case, and the judge didn't feel free to do so because of the complexity of the statute. So the judge had to hold another hearing after the prosecutor and I both tried to dismiss the case. We had a stipulated dismissal. In a criminal case, that would have been the end of it. But because they wrote it up the way they did as in the statute, we had to have my client come back from out of state again and go through a hearing and stand up and explain to the judge that it's okay to give his guns back. Very difficult for a 19-year-old, by the way, and he's a 19-year-old Marine.
Right.
He had to stand up and answer an inquisition from the judge.
As applied, then, let's say the 19-year-old is in a relationship that's rocky. The girlfriend can call him and say, yeah, he's nuts. Come take his gun, or whatever. Or the guy could do that to her, right? Both ways.
Yep, exactly right.
No recourse.
Well, your only recourse is sort of this upside down after the fact due process. That's it.
How does that, we've only got about 30 seconds. How does that withstand judicial scrutiny?
I don't think it will. I honestly believe that we're going to get to a point soon. In fact, several of us who are attorneys interested in the Second Amendment have been discussing challenging this in federal court. That's got to be the next step, I guess.
Of course, you need a case.
You can't get it done, right?
You need a case to do that. So you got to wait for the next poor guy to get, his property taken away by the police, even though they call it a civil action. Doolin, you are the smartest, most accomplished lawyer in the history of lawyers. Appreciate you being here. Probably won't see you next week, though. So Merry Christmas.
I'll miss you, smartest, best-looking host.
Merry Christmas, Doolin.
Merry Christmas.
There you have it. Brilliant guy. That's why they call him to testify. He needed more than 3 minutes. I'm telling you that, all right? More than 3 minutes. I'll take a break and be right back. All right, free speech, free for all Friday, courtesy of the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966, 877-310-9966. Lee is on the line in Alabama. Lee, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you? What's on your mind?
I want to know what in the ever-loving deep-fried turkey is going on in Texas with the legislator introducing a Sharia caucus.
Oh, good Lord. I didn't even read that, Lee. I didn't even see that. Now I got to look it up. Well, when did that happen?
Just in the last couple of days that I've seen on the ticker on the bottom of the screen on RAV.
I'm going to look that up. Sharia caucus.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I would love to think that they misspelt caucus and meant carcass.
Texas Republicans launch Sharia-free America.
Republicans, yes, sir.
But
two of them.
America.
They didn't get no name.
Right, but you're misunderstanding it. What it says on MSN, it means to keep America free from Sharia and defend Western civilization. So you did misread
I can barely hear you, sir.
That's all right, Lee. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. is what I'm telling you. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. Sharia Free America Caucus, aiming at defending Western civilization. A pair of conservative lawmakers launched the new group in the House of Representatives to protect Western civilization in the U.S. Keith Self of Texas, Chip Roy of Texas, starting the Sharia Free America Caucus. Anytime you go to a fight, you bring as many friends with you as you can. I'm a military guy, Self told Fox News Digital, so what we need to do is build a caucus now so that we can start educating the American people on the dangers of Sharia in the United States. So there you go. Lee, thanks for the call. Got my heads up on that one, yeah. Something else, maybe I'll ask Ivy about this. Did you know they renamed the Kennedy Center yesterday? It's now the Trump Kennedy Center. The board of whoever's in charge, the board there, voted unanimously to add Trump's name to the Kennedy Center. It's now the Trump Kennedy Center. I guess it'll be the Trump Kennedy Center honors from now on. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? We'll bring Ivy in next to weigh in on that and everything else that I can think of. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Keeps you focused on your camera. I mean, I'm too distracting. All right. Bonus time on a Friday. That's right. Best part of the program when Ivy shows up. Brings joy to the world. What no Christmas sweater today? Well, what's up? Anyhow.
Not today, no.
That's all right. How are you?
But I think it'd be a great idea for next week. We should come up with the most hideous Christmas sweaters to wear.
All right, fine. I'll do it. They force me to do this every year. Here's an ugly shirt, sweater thing. You know, we've got pictures.
I love it.
Pictures, yeah. Anyhow, what you got?
Well, I have lots of things to talk about, but did you have any dumbest things, bizarre things?
I got something I want to share. Yes,
Okay.
and I'll. You know, apparently there was a meeting between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens.
Correct. Yes.
A bury the hatchet thing. And it just reminds me of Looney Tunes. Not in your pointed head, son. No, we're going to bury the hatchet. Not in your pointed head, son. But so Candace Owens is on with Piers Morgan.
Okay.
He's usually pretty tough. No exception here. Listen.
Yes, we very well
But it
damn
may
can.
be, Candace.
Keep asking consistent questions until we get a clarified explanation for what happened on that day. And right now, we have nothing, okay? And that is the reason why people are watching my show, because I'm the only one not treating them like they're absolute idiots who don't have two eyes and who believe in magic bullet theory
Candace.
and who understand that
Candace.
Egyptian planes should not have been tracking Charlie even 3 times this
Okay.
year would be
Okay.
an anomaly,
But Candace,
okay?
you
They've been tracking him. We don't know where it's going to end,
Candace.
but we are going to keep asking questions until we get clear answers.
Candace, it may be that the person in the media spewing to the public is you.
No, nice try. It's not. It's
Could
you
be.
by saying, why are you asking
Could be.
questions? Don't you worry about Mikey's feelings? Everyone knows what this is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe you're the one spewing
BS.
BS.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is the deal. Did you? So AmFest started, Charlie Kirk's biggest, event of the year, and of course Erica's, carrying the torch. But Ben Shapiro went out and said multiple things during his speech directly at Candace Owens, saying, when you listen to what she says, we're all more retarded for hearing it. He says that. And he's just, continues on to say that, she's just spewing conspiracy theories and that she really needs to reel it in. And really, when you think about it, controversy sells. So
Yeah, it sure does.
She-
Apparently, if you pointed this out to me here, I don't know, a month ago maybe now. #1 podcast in the world is Candace Owens.
Right.
And people are not smarter for having listened to it. I'm sorry, Candace, but when you just
according to
fill
Ben
the void
Shapiro,
with-
you're more retarded.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What a mess.
It is. It's just like, can you give the woman some peace? Like,
No,
there's
they
a
just- they
huge
just-
investigation going on right now, and to be able to convict this guy who murdered Charlie Kirk,
Right.
and you just don't, you're not the freaking investigator.
And look, and I'm going with Occam's razor on this. I think the simplest answer is the right answer. I've had all these people, that 30-6, that couldn't happen. Look,
Yes, it could.
yes, it can. I've
A 22 could kill you if you hit it the right,
right,
way.
but they're
if you
saying
hit
there should be an
someone the right
exit
way.
wound. There should be an exit wound. There's no way that bullets don't always go through.
It's just
You've
so
seen it,
dumb
Ivy.
to have
I've
these
seen it.
conversations.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
That every scenario is different.
That's
in
right.
terms of any kind of
The
thing.
math is always different. It's never the same. The angle, the trajectory,
it's just so
the
dumb.
bone, the whatever. Look, I've said it. I believe that what we've been told thus far is exactly accurate until I see something that changes my mind. I'm not going to change my mind. I believe that Tyler Robinson is the shooter. I believe he is the killer. I believe he acted out of malice because of transgender issues and things of that nature. That's what I believe. Until I see otherwise, that's where I'm going to stay.
Did you see that yesterday the House passed a rule that they are criminalizing?
Well, they passed the legislation. It's not law yet.
Right, exactly. And I understand that. Of course,
I
the
understand.
internet's going wild. Like, oh my gosh, they're taking away all this stuff for kids. And actually, I want to play you a bite about this. Anthony, it's my bite one.
And the most common form of gender-affirming care for young people is medications that simply pause puberty and have been used safely
She
for
needs
decades.
medication.
So why do my colleagues across the aisle, so-called limited government people, suddenly want government to get in the way of the decisions that parents and their kids make together? Why do they want to stop children from getting medical care that has been proven to be safe and effective and helps them to live happily? Helps them to live.
Maybe a shot of
Just
whiskey
live.
would help them live happily.
Well, this is the deal. They're not stopping the
adults.
availability of it. They're stopping taxpayer dollars from being utilized. Correct?
You're exactly right. They're not.
Yeah.
But they
And the
should
thing is,
stop
they
it from
should.
happening.
I mean, I completely agree. You cannot take. First of all, there's so many unknowns about this.
You know
You're
what's known?
mutilating. You're literally mutilating the human body to do this.
That's right.
And a child. It's one thing if you become an adult and you decide that that's what you want to do. Hey, that is on you. But for a child, that is stupid and wrong.
It's butchery, is what it is.
It's butchery.
And the point
hormones
that I
are
make-
hormones. Okay, so hormones are naturally needed in the body for
Yeah.
all sorts of functions, different in men than in women.
That's right.
And to be, kind of out there, vulnerable a little bit. I'm actually going through perimenopause. I'm in a perimenopausal state, and I have to have hormone therapy. And to be able to bring my body back up to regular,
I hadn't noticed.
hormones. But they play such a vital role. If you just completely don't allow hormones to develop in young women or young men, that's going to be very harmful for them in the future.
They never become adults.
Yeah,
They never become.
It's so horrible.
I'm going to compare this something my father used to say.
And I heard that, by the way. I did miss it.
Say something my father used to say. If you spay or neuter a dog when it's 3-4 months old, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dog never fully matures.
Mm-hmm.
The dog as he put it, will always remain a little girl because the hormones don't promote adulthood.
Right.
And if you do those same things in children, or you alter the hormones and give them the opposite of what they need, you try to turn a male into a female, female into a male, so you give them the opposite hormones, you're wreaking havoc on the human body. And here's the truth. These people that transition become lifelong patients of the medical system because it has all these things that go with follow-up surgeries and hormones and da-da-da-da-da.
That's horrible.
And what they don't talk about are the detransitioners that say this was the biggest mistake of my life. They try to silence and marginalize those folks.
Right.
People like Pramila Jayapal there try to marginalize and silence these folks that say, wait, don't do this.
Right.
Not allowed to hear that. Not allowed to hear that on
it's
TikTok.
Better to have a conversation on, hey, the reality is this is, especially hormone therapy, these hormones are essential for bodily function based on your sex. Okay? You cannot change that. And so you're trying to manipulate something that's not meant to be manipulated. And that's just the one part of it, not the other part of it talking about, chopping off your wiener or creating a vagina that doesn't exist. That's what they do. Or trying to add a penis to a woman that was never there before. When you really think about it, it's just crazy. It's ludicrous. Like, this isn't possible, guys. And
Frankenstein.
It's Frankenstein. That's a really great way to put it. Well.
Okay, hold up.
All right.
Woo! Ivy's on fire. Trust me.
Oh, stop it.
We'll be right back. Oh, he wrecked the front end of it. All right, welcome back as we continue the conversation. Let's see if Ivy is still fired up. Ivy?
Well, I'm always fired up. But anyhow, I do have like one of the dumbest and most bizarre things that I've heard.
All right.
Pretty outrageous also. Anthony, if you want to play my bite two, please.
Is there any sense in dealing with the Supreme Court, writing them, calling them? I blame them for a lot. Yeah.
I am.
I don't know what to do about that.
I know.
I call, but I just don't know if it's a waste of time.
So I'm a Notre Dame grad, and Amy Coney Barrett coming out of my university makes me very excited. Just on a personal level, I talked to somebody yesterday who said they saw her with Brett Kavanaugh at a tailgate last weekend. I was like, I would not be able to control myself. That would be bad. There would be beers thrown in people's faces.
Okay, so here's a Democratic candidate for Senate in Michigan.
Yep.
Mallory McMorrow.
Correct.
And she says, I'll be violent. I will throw my beer can at Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh if I was to see them.
Yeah.
Like, these people have actually done a tremendous amount of great work to even be able to be on the court. And it's just unbelievable. Like, the Democrats always say, "Oh, this is the right is so violent."
Right.
And here it is. The
need to tone down the rhetoric.
Tone down the rhetoric.
Right. And here she is saying she would physically assault Amy Coney Barrett, who went to Notre Dame.
Right. I mean, why? Anyways, it's unreal. But here's another insane thing that I've heard. Dick Durbin talking about what he would do if Democrats gained power. Let's play bite 3.
President Trump has given them carte blanche to violate the law. There is a reality ahead. One day, President Trump will not be in the White House. When he goes, those who ordered these lawful activities finally may be held accountable and prosecuted. Section 242 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code makes it a crime for a federal law enforcement official acting under color of law to violate the constitutional rights of any person. I have no expectation that President Trump's Justice Department will investigate these violations currently taking place in Chicago. But the statute of limitations for these provisions is 5 years.
Okay, so Dick Durbin saying,
Good Lord.
I'm going to prosecute federal law enforcement officers for enforcing the law.
The federal law.
Yes.
Accurately. By the way, here's your update. Total shot in Chicago so far, 1,893 year to date. If they play their cards right, they can hit that magical number of 2,000. 418 homicides in the city of Chicago alone already this year. It is the most violent, deadly city in America, and he wants to defend the status quo.
Right. I'm assure you that the residents of Chicago don't want to have that.
No, I'm quite sure they don't.
And so here it is. Again, another example of the left saying the right is fascist. And, but if you're following the law and you're saying, I'm going to arrest you for following the law because I don't like it. What is that exactly?
Yeah. The
It's
right
just
is fascist. Let us show you how it's done. And that's it.
Did you see another thing really quickly? Did you see that Trump is going to have a Patriot Games for high school athletes celebrating America's 250th anniversary?
No.
So what he's going to do is bring in the top 2 athletes, female and male, from each state, and come and have them compete. Compete
in what
an
sport?
athletic, and all sorts of events. Many
Really?
events. Yeah. Let's see here.
No, I didn't hear that. Brock should
Yeah.
have brought that up, but he was on vacation or something.
I think it was like a 4-day deal.
Yeah, it's like a 4-day deal. I'm trying to see if there's any specifics.
Patriot
here.
Games, you call it.
Patriot Games, yeah. They don't say specifically what games per se, but they are celebrating the best athletes in the country, which I
youth
think is
athletic
great.
celebration celebrating United States athletes on the 250th birthday. A competition with young athletes from across the nation as part of the celebration. In the fall, we will host the first ever Patriot Games, an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man, one young woman from each state and territory. Democrats mock it, of course, comparing it to the Hunger Games.
Oh, gosh.
Because they're idiots.
Yeah, because they're going to go and shoot everybody and kill people.
Right.
Okay, they might actually want to know what Hunger Games is. So I think that's great because I remember growing up and there were actually times where you could submit an essay or you could submit something and then get a trip to the White House and meet the president. And that was really exciting and it made you want to achieve great things and have an opportunity to do that. So I think this is great. Of course, you know, a lot of people are saying this is so dumb, blah, blah, blah.
Of course they do, but so
come
what?
on. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for our athletes around the country.
I think it's terrific. And why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
And you watch. People be rooting for the people from their state.
Absolutely. And it promotes health and fitness and, you know, athleticism and competition, which is all very healthy. And I think that's great.
I agree. I'm surprised I hadn't heard about it.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about it.
Well, you know, there's not a lot going on each day. So.
No, heck, we got nothing. We just sit around and eat bonbons around here.
Right.
All right, so you got a week left. I see some things that...
I have less than a week left.
Oh, yeah. I see the Christmas tree starting to populate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I come back, I'm like, what is that?
I'm trying to not be, because I have been that person that I got all my shopping done, but I didn't do any wrapping. So then on Christmas Eve, I'm up till 1 o'clock in the morning wrapping.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that this year, so.
Yeah, I'm not wrapping either.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm just handing stuff. Here, this is your... No, I'm kidding.
That's so lame.
I'm going to wrap.
I'm tasking you now.
Yeah, I have to go do some Christmas shopping today. I have to pick something up for you, in fact.
Oh, wow.
I'll go with you, Steve.
No. Okay, you can go.
Yes. Oh, my God.
We'll go find some eggnog and spike it. I don't drink eggnog.
No.
I don't drink eggnog, you know that. Anyhow, it is Friday, thankfully. You know, I didn't get to the 10-day forecasting. I'm going to get to that after the break. 10-day forecasts. Are they accurate, Ivy? Yes or no?
No.
How accurate are they?
30%.
60%.
How would you say, Anthony?
60%.
All right.
I agree, 30%.
All right. We'll have the answer coming up. Ivy, love you.
Love you.
All right, so here it is. According to my research, I've got it right here. Who's right, who's wrong? Day 10 of a 10-day forecast. I started thinking about this because 2 days ago, Ivy says, oh, it's going to be in the 40s for several days in a row. I'm thinking, well, there won't be any white Christmas. It's snowing now and 20 degrees. This was not predicted, right? And then I look at the forecast now, and it says, let me see here, daily forecast. Now it's going to be 24, 39, 34, 1 day of 40s, and then it gets cold, and then it gets hot. Here's the accuracy. Less than 50%. Less than a coin flip. Not 30%, not 60% as guessed by our panel. But right now it's just rude outside. It's 20 degrees, howling winds, snowing, rude. This is the day to have a muskox on. So there you have it. Long-range forecast, 8 to 10 days, significantly lower accuracy than shorter forecasts. 50% or less. Not even as accurate as a coin flip. So it's going to be 50 degrees. Flip the coin. 10-day forecasts are, if you're less than 50%, wouldn't that qualify as fairly meaningless? Meaningless. Yeah, that's what I would think. Meaningless. Anyhow, 10-day weather forecast, less than 50%. So, what good are they? If you're trying to plan something, you just got to go with, look, pack the rain gear, pack the sunscreen, and everything in between. That's how you plan. There's no other way around it. No other way around it. All right, throw up the Gruber merch QR code. Probably wouldn't make it for Christmas, but you'll still be cool in the new year with Gruber merch. Coffee cups, pullovers, hoodies, great wicking material, great stuff. You're going to love it. Those hoodies are extra heavy. I like them a lot. There you have it, Gruber merch. Click the QR code on your screen and you can get it on the way. Probably won't make it by Christmas, I'll tell you now. But hey, when you show up, people are going to know, hey, that's the cool person at school. That's the cool kid in school. Fight the good fight, keep the faith. God bless America. I'm Steve Gruber. This is the Steve Gruber Show. And remember, only you can save America.